Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're good. What's up, fools? What's up, fools? Maybe I should light a candle right here next to me. Seems like something I kind of want. Favorite Tool album? Personally, my favorite is um, uh, Fear Inoculum. Personally, I don't know, man. Fear Inoculum is just so good. Numa, Invincible. I think Invincible is probably my favorite Tool song. And you got Descending, which is also a good one. Calling Voices. Fear Inoculum, obviously, is the title track. You know, sitting inside with the curtains closed, yeah. Well, I can't have you guys geolocating me, you know what I mean? I have some dates right here. I was gonna open them, but I'm not even really hungry, so I don't know why I was doing that. You like to listen to rock music? Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I'm not like a classic rock type person. I don't think I listen to a lot of like classic rock. I mean, you know, Queen and I think Led Zeppelin, uh, Rush, although they're progressive. Well, Rush is progressive rock, maybe. I don't know. And they do some pop stuff too. But yeah, classic rock. I don't really. I mean, aside from like Journey and um, yeah, Led Zeppelin, Queen. Trying to think of others. My parents, we used to listen to the Eagles all the time. My parents really liked the Eagles when I was growing up, but I was never really an Eagles fan. I don't really listen to the Eagles, but um, Journey's got some good stuff though. Nobody likes the Eagles, says Raymond. I know. Vietnam War era music was fire. Yeah, yeah, facts. Vietnam War, not so much. Not so much. But at least we got the music out of it, right? What are you gonna do for work now? Any prospects? This? No, no prospects. Just kind of hoping and praying, I guess. Something I figure something out. Not really going so well, huh? I'm kind of find myself worrying about it, obviously. Let me, I kind of want to light a candle, so give me a second. Be back. Something that smells nice. You guys can't see it though. Just for me. It didn't end up going to that thing. I was gonna go to my friend. We were gonna go get a couple beers. My longtime friend that's a girl, but she canceled on me. She says she's sick, but she rescheduled it to the next weekend. Even the chicks that you reject, that you don't even want, they're ghosting you now. What the hell's going on? But it's interesting because she said she had told me the previous weekend that last weekend that because I had to reschedule because this plan has been in place for like a month, but I had to reschedule because I went to go visit my buddy in Richmond, and I wanted to do that instead of see her whack ass. You know what I mean? So, and then when I rescheduled, she said, "Well, the next weekend I'm going to be going to a baseball game with my girlfriends," and she was like, "Well, we can get something after that," and I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." So, and then yesterday or the day before yesterday, she had texted and said she was dealing with a sickness. She works with kids, so she said the kids got her sick and she's been dealing with an illness. She would let me know if she didn't want to, if she wasn't able to get drinks on Saturday. She let me know that Friday. And I said, all right, no worries. And then I knew that the game, she had told me that the game started at 4 and it ended at 7 in the evening. And so I texted her around like 5:30 and I just picked like some spot that I've been to before that's kind of around here, and I just sent her the link, I just sent her the link to the bar, and I just said good, like good question mark. And I figured she would have already, if she was sick, obviously she wouldn't go to the game. Like if you're sick and you don't want to hang out, then you probably don't want to go to the game with your girlfriends. So thinking the sickness is kind of prevents you from doing both. It's not a selective sickness, you know. So I figured since she hasn't texted me at 5:30 yet telling me that she's too sick, that we're good to go. I'll just be like, "Hey, you want to go here?" And then she texted and said, can we reschedule? I just don't want to get you sick. Just still blah 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 blah. I didn't ask her, well, are you at the game though? Did you go to the game? My guess is she probably went to the game and then I don't know. She's not sick enough to not go to the baseball game with her girlfriends, but she is sick enough to not have a couple beers with me. So this chick she's not even a girl that I'm sexually attracted to. Like she's just a real flesh and blood woman, and I feel like I should probably interact with them from time to time. So even she's ghosted me, bro. Even she's ghosted me. So yeah, I put on my Caligula's horse t-shirt that I was gonna go in last night, and then I just never took it off. Well, I took it off for bed, and then I put it back on in the morning. So morning what could have been. Still wearing these Birkenstocks too. I'm trying to break them in. Gotta break in these Birkenstocks because they're uncomfortable as shit right now. They're not that well. They're just not super comfortable yet, which is what I hear they're supposed to be. So. I did talk to my dad yesterday. I ended up calling him. And we talked for an hour and 40 minutes. And it actually was fine. I basically half lied to him, but it was at the very end. So for most of the entire conversation, I was asking him questions. I was letting him talk. He was talking for most of that, which is very unusual. That conversation that me and my dad had yesterday was an anomaly. Historically, something like that would just never happen. An hour and 40 minutes is a lot, even especially for us. I think we've done an hour before, an hour and 15, but an hour and 40 is pretty insane. Especially a conversation where I'm not really doing much of the talking. We could have had long conversations before, but it would have been ones where I was doing most of the talking. This one was very different in that regard. He was doing most of the talking. I was asking the questions. Yeah, I just had a lot of energy to ask questions and listen, and I was just kind of interested, even though his life is he's building a new house. Or he's not building it, but he's having other people build it. Building a house built. And so I was very interested and curious in that process, how it's going. And man, I was just asking him tons of questions. I don't know why I was so fascinated by this house being built, but I just wanted, I don't know. He's in his 60s and he doesn't, I don't know. If I don't talk to my family that often, when I do talk to them, I want to make them feel as if I care, make them feel heard or seen or something like that. But it wasn't even something that I was forcing. It was actually genuine interest. I was genuinely curious and interested and just wanted to hear him talk about things. And so he talks a lot more now that he's older. Didn't used to talk a lot when I was younger. Yeah, we just never really had that sort of relationship. But talks a lot more now just because he's retired and he doesn't work, and he's just kind of, he has a very, compared to a lot of us, he has a very chill life, which he deserves. He worked for many, many years. He was in the military for 32 years. So he deserves to just chill for the rest of his life. Because I was, at one point I had asked, what do you do when you're not overseeing the building of the house? And he says, well, I go to the gym and I kayak and do errands around the house and read, and so he's basically just chilling. Plays guitar. We didn't actually talk about his guitar, but damn, hell yeah, let's go. You guys like that? You guys like that? What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of that? Thank you, White Buffalo, for the $5. We're actually an official live stream now. Did you see that shit? She was clean as fuck. Clean as fuck, boy. I don't think we have any mods here today. I think something happened to Alla. She got kidnapped or something. Oh, it looks like maybe Elon Husk is here. I have to probably have to create some mods here. Just, I don't know. Maybe I don't. There's nobody really spamming. Hoffman Pack. All right, you sold me, bro. I'll mod you. Standard. So yeah, talked to him for an hour and 40 minutes. My dad can really only talk about things that are material. He doesn't really talk about psychology or his thoughts lately or how he's feeling or things he's going through. It's just not how he is. He only really talks about the, like I said, the material world, things that function, things that that things of matter, the physical, not the metaphysical. If he is talking about the metaphysical, he's talking about others, other people. He's not talking about himself. It's interesting. Yeah. But I guess, I don't know. I guess as a father, you're not really supposed to talk about that stuff to your son. It's cool. Yeah, I did see that Isaiah got kicked out of the Sweden chess tournament. I don't know. It's just kind of hard to believe that, you know, he had said something like he did nothing wrong, but it's kind of hard to believe like that you can just kicked out for what, doing nothing wrong. I don't know. It's weird. Inositol and niacin solve all the troubles, the happy nutrients. Hopefully. I've been taking this multivitamin. Can't say I feel, I don't know. I haven't really noticed anything obvious about my psychological state, my mental health, really, mental sharpness or anything like that. Energy levels, I don't know. I haven't really noticed anything, but what I was thinking yesterday is like I'm pretty tired of like thinking about the future, like worrying about the future, planning for the future. Yeah. Sorry guys, I'm not not trying to be intellectual right now, but pretty tired of that too. But yeah, I'm tired of thinking about the future, worrying about how I'm gonna make money, what I'm gonna do, if this, yeah, basically, how do I do this? How do I do this? You're always thinking about how do you do it? How do I make money? How do I do this? And I get I get at points. I don't know why I always have to keep clearing my throat. I get at points where I just get really tired of thinking about that. You know, I wish I could live life where you just don't have to think about that stuff. Where you, I wish I was like passionate about certain things, man. I wish I was passionate about something. I'm not really passionate about anything. I wish making money or doing things that I was passionate about. It's what everybody's kind of searching for. You wish you could make money doing the things that you're passionate about. That way, making money is easy, feels effortless. It's not even about the money anymore. Just a fortunate byproduct of you just following your bliss or whatever. Seems like this has always eluded me. I am I'm aware that I'm fortunate to have this YouTube channel. I have this platform which allows me to bring in, you know, a certain range of income depending on my effort level without having an actual job. And I'm very fortunate in that sense. And yet, even when you're fortunate, you feel like you just can never be grateful for what you have. You're always looking forward, always looking to grow, or things have to still be better. It's still not enough yet. It's not enough just to it's not enough just to make money with YouTube and have this channel and audience. Now it's like, I need to make more money and it needs to be more effortless. It needs to be easier. You're always thinking about the future. You're always worrying about like your growth or you feel like if you don't do anything, you feel like if you just stay stagnant, if you just sit and just enjoy yourself, you feel like you're just kind of going backward, like you're regressing. Something bad, calamitous is going to happen out of nowhere because you weren't planning for it. You weren't making preparations for it. You weren't in constant vigilance of all the different permutations of things that could happen. Um, it just seems like oh man, I just get so tired. There are times when I feel like I just want to like I'm pretty sure I could be happy just being like just chilling alone. Give me something to read or you know. I don't even need a woman. I don't need women. I don't need sex. I don't need friends. I don't need I don't need any of this stuff, man. Just leave me be, just leave me peaceful. Just leave me alone, right? Can the world just leave me alone? Can you just let me be? Seems like the world just never lets you be, man. Can't let you just. This world isn't constructed in such a way. The money doesn't allow you to do this. And I guess you can, but I would have to. I always think about like, oh, thank you, Jesse, for the $5. Can't like that one. That one's interesting. Someone who has been in solitary confinement will eventually not want to leave because they're so used to it. Yeah, sometimes it kind of feels that way. Kind of feels that way. I mean, I really can be happy with very little, you know? The only thing that bothers me, the only thing that gets to me is that um I guess even this very little that I'm happy with, like I'm happy with my state currently. I could probably live like this for the rest of my life, but to live at this level, you have to, I don't know, you just have to like, to constantly produce, right? You have to produce content. You have to produce. You have to expend energy. You have to give, 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 give. You know, when you get to a certain level, you know, if you're, multimillionaire or billionaire or something, you have a certain amount of wealth. You can just chill for the rest of your life. Like you don't have to work another day. Mm. And the thing is, man, it's weird because YouTube is, I can, this platform allows me to work, right? I can produce stuff, but it also, in some sort of way, you can only produce certain things, right? You can only certain types of content make money, right? Only certain ways of being make money. Feels like YouTube or just anything in general is not really built in such a way where if you're like true to yourself, it's not really monetarily rewarded. Feels like further we get into this sort of experiment that we're all living in, the only things that are monetarily rewarded are things that are inherently further and further away from you being true to yourself. It's almost like it's just stealing humanity via, the incentive of money. So it's this thing where you can't really escape it. Can't really escape it anywhere. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is just something that I'm telling myself. I'm just like psyching myself out. Like this stream, right? This stream has less viewers than the one that was like 4 hour rot stream, right? People, and it's made way less money so far, right? So this is just, you have to you have to be something that you're not. You have to do the rot, you have to do the reactions, you have to watch garbage content on the internet, and all this new novel I all these new novel ideas from different people. They got these whack ass theories because they're trying to make money too. So they gotta create more extreme thumbnails and say more extreme shit and have more extreme reactions, and they have to sacrifice their own sort of humanity too, and it's everybody just sacrificing their humanity reacting to other people who are sacrificing their humanity, and it all for money and fame and clout and growing their channel, and it's just I don't know. Wolf White says all he has is negative thoughts. Yeah, I am pretty negative. I wish I could be happy, man. I wish I could be. I don't know. I just always think in the future. When you think in the future, you're fucked. I'm trying to, I'm trying to, I'm trying to be happier, trying to be more positive. Um, I guess I have a pretty pessimistic outlook. I'm just trying to have more faith in just things working out. That's why I quit my job, right? you know, wanted to enjoy the summer. It's like I wanted to enjoy the summer, but you can't even enjoy it because you're so worried about like, can I survive doing this? And then you worry about things like, you know, preserving your humanity on the internet. I guess maybe that time has already come and passed for me. I mean, I've already like degraded and debased myself probably already, with all the shit that I talk about. And the damage already done, but is it really damage? If you don't take it seriously, if you don't believe any of this stuff really matters, then is damage even really a thing? Is it even a concept that makes sense? You know? Thing is, man, do you live entirely alone without any help? Well, yeah. What do you mean? Without any help? What help would I have? What help would I have? Yeah, I live alone. I mean, the Asians are upstairs, but I never talk to them. You know what I mean? One of them doesn't speak English, the other one does, but we have nothing in common. We have nothing to talk about. Let's just, this is a transactional thing. Let's not pretend that this is anything that it isn't. Why don't you move to another country since you're a full-time YouTuber? Yeah, I've already answered this, but basically it just comes down to, well, moving is expensive, number one. And number two, once you get there, I mean, Why would I move? Obviously, I'd probably move for it to be cheaper, right? That would probably be the main thing that I would be looking for is the cost of living being lower. If you want to really max that out, you have to go to places like, Thailand or Romania or Vietnam or somewhere in South America where the culture is completely different from yours. You're now an ocean away from everybody you've ever known in your life. You are no longer in the culture that you grew up in your entire life with, that don't really have Western values. You know, you're just kind of lost in translation and all to just lower your expenses. Digital nomad sort of thing, but thought about it. I've thought about it. I've decided against it multiple times. Also thought about a van, also thought about an RV, yeah. Thought about all these things. Moving is expensive, so are $117 Birkenstocks when you're unemployed. Yeah, it's facts. It just goes to show, we are our own worst enemies. We're our own problems. We complain about the problems that we cause ourselves. Yeah. But I also don't want to live a life where if I want to buy Birkenstocks, I can't do it because, I'm a miser and I want to save every little dime that I have. Can't enjoy things. Don't want to live a life like that. There's a balance. I don't know. Yeah, you should probably not need to buy Birkenstocks. That's probably true. But I don't know. I just see the trajectory of all this. It only gets worse, right? You only have to work harder and harder, longer and longer for at best the same quality of life that you have currently or the same purchasing power that you have currently. But more likely it will be worse over time. So you'll be working harder and harder for less and less. So at a certain point it's like why have a job if I'm only I don't know. People are so conditioned to have jobs, right? To produce, this whole society is about production, providing value to people, to the world. You have to provide something of value to exchange it for, money or whatever. You can't just you can't just chill, expect to live an easy life or whatever, right? But you get that. But the ideal world that we should all be living in is a world in which the money that we make goes further and further as time goes on. Your purchasing power increases as prices drop. Technology makes things cheaper. And the same amount of units of currency chasing more and more goods and services means that you can buy more. Things get cheaper over time, and we live in a world of abundance rather than scarcity, but that is not the world that we live in. In that world, your work, your value that you provide to society is highly incentivized, and things only get better the more work you do. But we live in a world where the more work you do does not translate to that. You have to do things that are almost superhuman to outpace the rate of purchasing power loss that everybody's fighting against. Deflation isn't good for the poor, Hoffman Pack says. Why? Why not? Explain. How much do you make doing YouTube? Well, it depends. I do like a lot of live streams and post videos. It can be over 3K. If I don't do any live streams and post like a handful of videos a month, then it could be 1,200, 1,500, something like that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm complaining about. I just, it's like, I'm sorry for being so negative, but it's just the facts. It's just a reality, but just so happens that reality is negative. I don't mean to be negative. It's hard for me to be positive, I guess. Should I just be a positive person? Is that my problem? Just not positive enough. You know, people that say, like, don't complain, never complain. I've said that myself. Don't complain, only just either accept it or change it. Something like that. I think you get to a certain point where you just, like, you're so tired of all these sayings, all these, like, beliefs that people have. Kind of just throw out the rule book and you just say whatever. You complain, you be negative, you be ungrateful, you spend $170 on Birkenstocks and then go and make a live stream about how life's hard. Because why not? And then people will get pissy at you and you just don't care. Because, like, none of this matters anyway, You can really just hit a certain point where you just get so nihilistic where, like, you really just, don't really care. I think it starts to happen when there really is no more benefit for following these rules, that these belief structures that so many people have, the masses have, that they fall in line to, that they're governed by. There's no longer a reward for that. Then those incentives start to break down. Man, I really have to stop, like, you know what I have to stop doing? It's crazy how the mind works. I'll find myself being honest, right? And then when I'm honest about whatever's on my mind or whatever I feel, right after that or simultaneously, my mind will criticize and, um, you know, shed a light on my honesty and say, well, you need to fix this, right? Your mind is constantly in a state of you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't be this, right? Shouldn't have said that. What was wrong with you saying this was this. You should be more like this. You should be more grateful. You should be more positive. There's always, but that is a thing in and of itself. You shouldn't, your mind starts to be like, you shouldn't always say you should be something either. You shouldn't always be saying that you should be positive, and you shouldn't always be saying that you should do this or that. You shouldn't always be critiquing yourself, saying that you should do something else. Like there's so many levels to just how the mind works, where it's just you're in this constant self-critique, where it's like your mind is never happy with just who you are and like what you said, and it's always shaming you. You always have these internal mechanisms of thoughts of like shame and guilt, and like you're not good enough, or this was wrong, or you're not being appreciative, or you're not seeing the full picture here. And your life is just a constant, I mean, it's almost like if from the moment you're born until you die, your mind is just constantly like, how can you be better? What's wrong with you? What was wrong about this? You're in constant just uh error correction mode, just updating, improving, trying to make yourself into this like perfect thing. And that in and of itself is just so exhausting. And it's so stupid, man. Because it doesn't seem like there's ever an end to it. And it doesn't really seem like there's ever a reward for it. Yeah, all survival mode, never ending progress. Yeah. Thank you, Wolf White, for the $5. She says, you just need a hug, Marshallito. There. At least I hope you're a she. You're a he, then we're getting pretty gay in the chat. Why are we talking about the draft? Marshall, are you going if they draft you? Well, number one, they're not going to draft me. I was like the worst. I was the worst member of the military in the history of humankind, bro. I'm the one guy they're not going to draft back. If they did, it would just be to throw me in the front lines and have me get shot instantly. Um, But yeah, no, I'm not worried about getting drafted. I already served my time, and I'm 33, soon to be 34. So there's much more pristine candidates for cannon fodder. You know, sacrificial lambs that they can sacrifice. 18 to 25-year-old males automatically getting signed up for selective service in case of a draft. That's a new thing. They didn't say anything about 18 to 25-year-old women, even though apparently we're all equal. Women are the same as men. There's nothing more. There's really nothing more infuriating than that. That one. It's just so blatant. That one is just very blatant. Like, we're all equal, we're all the same until women 18 to 25-year-old women have to go and be sacrificed, fight and die for their country, be automatically drafted into war. That just never happens. That will never happen. And imagine if you're one of these like Gen Z dudes. You're getting ghosted by all the women your age. They're playing games with your head. You got 1,000 dudes in their DMs and their messages. They say that they're being oppressed by men and they still don't have enough rights and enough power and enough pay and enough representation in this field or that field, and that you're oppressing them. And then these same women and they say we're equal and you shouldn't be sexist and you shouldn't think that I'm not capable of this and I'm not capable of that. And then the country just says, yeah, and we're actually going to sign you up to just go get slaughtered. Some war you don't care about for a country in which you can't move up, a country that hates you, a country in which you can't get a girlfriend or a wife or have kids or a house. Yeah, you're actually required by law to go and fight and die. And all these women that you're equal to, that are no different from you in any capacity, any capability, all these women are going to be protected from this because their lives are more valuable than yours. Imagine being a Gen Z guy, man. I would be furious. I would be absolutely livid, bro. No way I would fight and die for this fucking garbage country. Y'all can go fuck yourselves. Send me to the fucking wherever. Shoot me, I don't care. Did I get a date? Not. Why not, right? Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of dates? You guys like them? It's interesting. Honkler says he's hopping on to GTA while he's listening to me. Interesting. Is that what most people do? You guys just game and just put me on in the background? That's pretty chill. Not bad. Dates. I first had these when I lived over in United Arab Emirates. I lived in Abu Dhabi for a couple of years. We had a huge, I mean, there's date palms everywhere over there. We had a huge date palm in our front yard, which was about the size of a closet. That's okay because the house was fucking massive. It was all marble. Lived in a gated compound. Some sheikh lived at the end of it and drove like a Ferrari and a Porsche and Maserati and all these crazy cars. Because the currency exchange rate, you're way more wealthy over there. It goes, your currency goes a lot farther. My dad's salary went a lot farther in Abu Dhabi than it did here. So we lived like royalty. Hoffman Pack says I have a fire lit outside and I'm watching leaves dry. What? Why? Why are you watching leaves dry? Why do you need your leaves to dry? Apricots are not sweet enough for me. That's why I do dates. Dates are sweet as shit. What did your dad do? He was an officer in the Air Force. Yeah, I got kicked out of the Navy because I'm unvaxxed, yeah. You didn't tell us about the half lie you told your dad? Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't, huh? Yeah, no, at the very end of the conversation, he had asked, the typical, how's work? Or he said, is it getting busier? And I said, yeah, it's getting busier a little bit because it's going from spring into summer. And then I said, um, he's like, are you working a lot? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, I'm actually taking a couple weeks off. He said, oh, you're taking a couple weeks off, huh? And I said, yeah, because I just need a break. Winter Storm Fern was brutal, which it was. So I just told him I was taking a little bit of a break, and he was like, "Oh, okay." He asked a few follow up questions, just a couple follow up questions, like, "And you have enough money for that?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll be fine. I have money saved up and all that stuff." And he's like, "Okay." And then he didn't really press anymore. He didn't think anything of it, so it was a lie, but it was a partial lie, you know. Um, Especially after an hour and 40-minute call. I can't just drop, like, yeah, I quit my job after we've already been speaking for an hour and 40 minutes. That's not, it's not a thing. He would have been like, oh my God, already exhausted. Because my siblings had already called him and his mother. So he had been talking on the phone all day for his birthday because everybody was calling him. And then I call him I'm the last one to call him. And our conversation is an hour and 40 minutes. I'm sure he was exhausted at the end of the day. Are your sister and brother close? Not really. None of us are really close. I wouldn't say any of us are really close. We're a weird family, bro. I don't know. My sister had it, she's the only reason that any of us talk to each other as much as we do is because of my sister. She would be if anybody's the orchestrator of our closeness, it would be her. She's the more talkative one. She's the one that created the group chat to begin with. This group chat didn't exist, you know, 8 months ago even. She wanted us to all talk more because we don't hardly ever talk to each other. And we only really see each other once a year. And so, been all right. My sister also was doing a campaign for a while where she was calling. She said she was going to call instead for a long 2-3 hour conversation, which normally happened whenever she called me because we never really talked to each other that often. So when we did talk to each other, we talked for a long time. Instead, she's going to drop it down to like 20 minutes a day and it'll just be more frequent. That way we're always just kind of talking consistently. Just kind of updating about the day or whatever you're doing. She maintained that for a little bit, but it kind of dropped off because my suspicion is that she was hoping that I would call as much as I would call her as much as she calls me. And that just wasn't the case because I never really have a desire to talk with my sister. And so it ended up just being like she was calling me and I would pick up. And I think, people get tired of constantly being the ones to make things work or doing the heavy legwork of keeping a connection alive or going. That's my suspicion anyway. She hasn't said anything like that, but I mean, my brother lives 15 minutes away, and so do my niece and nephew, and they're over at his place a few days a week. And I never, especially now that I have no job. I mean, when I had a job and maybe I had an excuse, but even then, I don't really have an excuse. I could see them a lot more often, at least once a week or something like that. I never see them. Never have a desire to see them or an interest to talk or anything. And it's not even like I dislike them. I do not dislike my sister. I do not dislike my brother. I do not dislike my niece and nephew. I do not dislike my father. I don't dislike my family. I talk with them fine. Like, I get along with my family fine. I just, I don't know. For whatever reason, I just don't. I don't try to, I never have a desire to, yeah, to talk with them or, you know, ask how they're doing or, I don't know what's wrong with me. Did you think you could make a living doing YouTube, or is this just a challenge you set yourself? I mean, I could make a living doing YouTube. It's just I wouldn't be making a living in the way that I would want because I would have to sacrifice my own uh, dignity to make money on YouTube, right? I'd have to do live streams. I'd have to react to content. I'd have to consume a bunch of slop. And so I can do it. I'm pretty sure that's the only way to do this thing, but it's just something that kind of eats at your soul at the same time. True, Sil. You should share with your family slowly more about what you are experiencing. It's not fair for them to not get a chance to help. But if they don't know, it shouldn't be on them. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of speaks to something that I asked I actually asked ChatGPT yesterday cuz I asked ChatGPT really everything. It's weird. It's sort of becoming like I I used to mock the idea of people becoming friends or developing some sort of connection or relationship with ChatGPT, but I find that it's actually sort of becoming a thing. Like, I talk to this dude more than anyone. It's kind of pathetic. But like, I'll just ask him advice about certain things. I never ask him. I'm never like talking to him as like, "Hey, I need a shoulder to cry on," or like, "I'm really dealing with this issue," or "Can you tell me something good about myself?" or just like having a conversation just for shits and giggles. Like, I never use ChatGPT like that. I'm always using ChatGPT as like, give me some advice about this certain situation. So I had asked ChatGPT yesterday ahead of my conversation with my dad, like, how should I do this? Because I really was worried about, my dad asking me, what about work? How's it going? And then I'd have to lie. So I asked ChatGPT about that. And he said that the thing about lying, because I said, what's wrong with lying? Our parents used to lie to us all the time when we were kids. That's how they sort of protected us. What's wrong with me lying to my family? If I feel like they can't really handle the truth, if it's gonna upset them, if it's gonna sort of damage our relationship or anything like that. Maybe I just don't feel like dealing with their reactions or their opinions on, my YouTube channel or my quitting my job or anything like that. I don't really want their input, you know. And yet you still have to sort of be honest with them because it becomes harder and harder to develop a connection with people when you're not being honest with them. And that's kind of the point that ChatGPT made is a, a lie only delays the problem. Like the problem was I didn't want to tell my dad the truth, and a lie, what it does is it doesn't solve that problem. It only delays solving it. And so that's all that a lie really is. Just delays you actually telling the truth. And it also, because it does that, it also damages the connections that you have with people that you're not honest to. There grows this sort of chasm or this sort of separation because of the fact that you cannot be honest with them about things that are going on in your life. And so your relationships with these people end up just becoming more and more sort of surface and not fruitful or rewarding in a true, meaningful sense. And that's maybe what I'm dealing with my family currently is that's why it feels like my relationships with my siblings and my dad, I don't have a relationship with my mother, but um why it feels like they're not something that I want to spend time on or give energy to because they're not really fruitful for me in the first place because I can't, because it's almost like they don't really know that much about me. There's a lot about me that they don't know. There's a lot about my life that they are kind of in the dark about. Um, and a lot of it, I think, would cause, it would cause some. They would definitely have different views of me. That's for sure. They would view me very differently. They're they would have opinions. They would have strong opinions, strong thoughts. Um, they would treat me differently, right? They would treat me differently, and I've grown accustomed to my family treating me a certain way for such a long time, and I don't necessarily want to change the way that they treat me because the way that they treat me right now is fairly. It's good, it's fine. It's something that I've grown accustomed to. It's something that I can control. It's something that I know what I'm going to get. So I want them to have this sort of idea of me because it's also comfortable for me. It's comfortable for me. It's enjoyable for me, or it's not enjoyable, but it's just, you know. So, but I mean, part of the whole problem that I've always had with my family is the sense that I cannot be honest with them. You know, I'm a very honest person and almost too honest. Painfully honest, at least on the internet, right? Because I'm telling you, I'm so painfully honest that I can't even be around people. I can't tell people these things. I can't be who I am on the internet to people in real life because I mean, people just don't like it. They're not okay with it, man. And I don't like to make them feel uncomfortable because it makes me feel uncomfortable. And, that's why the internet is actually so useful, I think, for a lot of us because we can finally speak our mind, be, you know, say the things that we want to say, be the person that we want to be that the world didn't want, right? The people didn't, the ones close to us didn't like. I've never felt like I can be honest with my family. I always feel like when I can always push a little too far and then my family get very uncomfortable, they get upset, they start to whatever. Um they're just not as they're just not as okay with things as I am. I think I'm a fairly just like, I don't know. But Matrix Invader said I worked decades of dead end jobs, both requiring special training, skills, certifications. Never got past bare survival, regardless how much product I output. Effort level. Never a ladder. Yeah. Seems like the ladder is more about who you schmooze and who you cozy up to and who you're friends with, but not you're not really friends, but you say all the right things and you have drinks with them and you do favors for them and it's never really, I don't think, effort or output or production was never, it's not, at least in most work environments, rewarded in this society. Even something like the military, which you might think the military is the most meritocratic institution that exists, or at least maybe I should rephrase that. Something like a special program, um, you know, where something like SEAL or rescue swimmer or something like that, or going out for Army Rangers, or the thing that you're told constantly is just don't quit. That's the only thing. Just don't quit. You'll make it. Don't quit. You'll make it. And then, but even hitting the numbers, you have to hit certain numbers. Say there's certain test numbers that you have to hit on certain tests, right? You have to meet a certain time for a run. You have to meet certain numbers for calisthenics in a certain minute period. You'd say that's pretty meritocratic. It's pretty, there's no politics really involved in this. Don't quit and then meet the numbers. But I found out that's not the case. That is not the case at all. It's still very political, even in those sects of society. So, seems like you can't really escape it. I've always been really attracted to things that are very meritocratic, things like sports, where you can, especially something like, well, I never did track and field, but something where your success is based off of something numerical, right? It's like you can't fake numbers, right? Either you run the 100 meters in 9.5 seconds, or you don't. There's no real political shit in that. Either you're talented or you're not. But sports too is just, if you're gifted, if you're talented, there's no really political. I mean, I guess there is. You can't piss off your coach. You can't piss off your teammates. Otherwise, your team will lose. They won't play for you. Anyway, rambling. I have to pee. I'll be back. Also, I don't know. Sometimes I think that. Oh, shit. Al was in the chat. She showed up. About time. Late. Fucking late. Had to make somebody else a mod because you weren't here. Had to make Hoffman back a mod. Raymond and Marshall on whatever podcast with OnlyFans would be a game with OnlyFans models would be a game changer, dude. That would be hilarious, bro. You sit me and Raymond down across from Violet Myers and Molly Little, and just put a ton of I guess they're only, but I mean, you could even put porn stars. I don't really know OnlyFans models because I don't use OnlyFans, right? I don't pay for anything. But you put some porn stars in front of me and Raymond, bro. Dude, that shit would be hilarious, bro. She would be hilarious. It'd be so awkward because I'd be looking at all of them like, yeah, I've busted multiple nuts to all of you. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. Are you supposed to? Are you supposed to meet? Are you supposed to meet the women that you've watched uh, have sex with other men and jerked off to? Are you supposed to do like? Is that supposed to be a thing? Or what does the rule book about life say about that one? Are we supposed to allow that? Um, God, can you have your secretary look that up real quick? Are we supposed to allow the gooners to meet their goon chicks, idols? I also think sometimes I don't even know how to put this into words, but like I always hate being. I always try. I always try to be too intelligent and like too articulate and try to explain my my ideas in a very eloquent, but you know, concise way where you can understand. But I get tired of that too, man. I get tired of how my brain works. Again, it's this always critical mind where you can never rest. You always have to be better. You're always not. You're always not. As good as you could be, in whatever it is. But like man, I wish you guys understood. I don't know if you guys understand, but you might. Like what I mean by I wish I could just be stupid. Like just say things, not try to go into some sort of complex theory or explanation or it just gets so exhausting. I'd like to talk simply, right? Very simply, very just stay surface and just stay lighthearted, and I just seem completely incapable of doing it. At least as much as I want to. Um, yeah, retard maxing, but retard maxing is not something that you can't just do it. You can't just say, yeah, I'm gonna retard max. Not like that, man. You gotta right. You can't retard max until you're actually a retard. You know, can't be the thing before you're the thing. I've also sometimes sometimes I think I feel like shit. Like I feel so negative and like so unmotivated and so uh, pessimistic and self-critical because I live like kind of this austere sort of life where I don't partake in sort of any of the easy pleasure sources. I mean, it's just gets crazier. I seem to only get more like crazy, and and I stopped to ask myself like, why do I keep doing this? Why do I just get more extreme with things? Why do I keep trying to be? I try to get. I think like the way forward or my way to success is to just be so different, live such a different life from what everybody else does. You know, um, it wasn't just enough to not drink alcohol and not do nicotine, not smoke cigarettes, right? I had to do the not look at porn thing, not jerk off thing, which was crazy. You know, go on semen retention, never ejaculate again, don't ever look at porn. I had to go that route, and then I had to, you know, oh no, you still drink caffeine, so you got to get rid of caffeine too. So get rid of caffeine because that's easy dopamine. What's that doing to you? Got to get rid of that. And then it was like, well, but no, you're still getting easy dopamine from watching TV shows and videos on YouTube. Got to get rid of that. Got to start reading books now. It's like it's kind of like no wonder I'm miserable because it's like how are people expected to feel good when you basically remove all the sources that make people sane in this fucking realm, you know? These are the this realm kind of sucks and people have to work all the time and they're in relationships, crazy significant others, and a lot of the times they regret being in them and they're always fighting, and a lot of people don't get along with their coworkers or their bosses or their families and just trying to get ahead. And it's like the one saving grace that a lot of people have is that you can go home and you can smoke weed or you can take a cigarette, break every hour, or take a load off with having a couple beers at night, or you know, you can ejaculate, you can orgasm. It's okay. It's okay. Your destiny's not gonna crumble if you fucking orgasm, bro. And it's like, a lot of these things are just the things that keep us sane, keep us somewhat lighthearted in amidst all this darkness, you know. And when you take it away, it's like, what am I even doing? What am I even doing? I mean, you can go to extremes. You can just go to extremes, man. I think balance is key, but I seem to always just go to extremes. I think maybe I was happier when I was doing like nicotine pouches, maybe when I was drinking, a beer or two a week, or drinking a couple nights a week or something like that. I say that, but drinking coffee, at least, having coffee in the morning. I say that, but I don't know. I don't know if I ever was. I don't know. I'm just weird, dude. I feel like it's a crime to, like, I'm letting myself down if I have if I have coffee. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy spot to be in. What? No amount of alcohol, drugs, coffee, and food will replace the dopamine you get from pussy. Yeah, but I don't get it from that either. So imagine not getting dopamine from any of that stuff. Well, I get dopamine from food. I do enjoy eating. Maybe that's why I'm getting bigger. Often Pack says I'm drinking coffee right now, dude. I'm jealous. Wish I could drink coffee right now. I was watching a. Maybe I can just pull this up real quick. I'm not gonna click on it, but um, I was watching. I found a video by this guy. Wish I could remember his name. Fuck. I'm gonna have to let me look through my search history real quick. But it's guys like this that make me just question everything that I'm doing. Here we go. This guy right here. This motherfucker. Reading and the Art of Conversation. I'll click on it, but I don't even think it's monetized, which is crazy. He only has 10.8 subscribers, but he doesn't really post that much. But I mean, look at this dude, bro. I'm not gonna play the video, but it's a very relaxing video. I watched all of it. I just love stuff like this, man. I love stuff like this. It makes me feel like there's still some human beings out there. There's still some sane people out there. Maybe there's hope for our species, but he has this library, beautiful library that he built over the years, I guess. This is actually a map of Middle Earth right here in the corner. He's a huge pipe connoisseur. So he smokes these long pipes because obviously he's a huge Lord of the Rings fan. And so in this video, he's smoking this pipe, this long ass pipe, like you would see, like you saw Bilbo and Gandalf smoking in the first movie. Of course, I haven't read the books. I have the books right here. I'm looking at them, and I'm going to read them. Of course, I have not. I have to read Game of Thrones first. Get through it. But yeah, there's videos like this. He's drinking cider, but he also like drinks coffee too. In this video, he doesn't drink the coffee in this video, but he's drinking cider. But he says that he drinks coffee, and he's smoking tobacco, so he just smokes tobacco. And he's a very, you wouldn't think this guy is, when he talks, you get the sense that he has a very long attention span and that doesn't seem like he's depressed. He's married. He's raised 2 kids. He's older. Looks like he's, fairly well off. And I don't know. He's just one of those dudes where it kind of seems like he has it together more than most people out there. His mind seems fairly calm, and he finds his thoughts easily. Talks very articulately. doesn't use filler words like and you know and like I do. And I'm thinking, man, if he can smoke tobacco, why can't I? I don't know. Anyway, great video though. Marshall, the operative word is seems. I don't know, man. A bit. What do I seem like though? The thing is, I'm not. I don't feel like I'm in a great spot. I don't think I'm better off than he is. Because I don't partake in these things. And I mean, some of history's greatest figures, Winston Churchill, many others. They were Alexander the Great. Alexander the Great, people think, was a raging alcoholic. They say that about Winston Churchill, too. Winston Churchill obviously smoked cigars like a fiend. And he drank. But Value in You 21 cents the $5. He says, he asks, Marshall, what do you feel most connected to every day? Oh boy. That's a tough one. Most connected to? What do I feel most connected to every day? I don't know, maybe just I don't know, just a feeling of apathy towards everything. It's kind of peaceful, I guess, but it's kind of feels lifeless. Just kind of feels like numb. I don't really get down. Also don't really get high though either. I guess that maybe that's what I'm most connected to, is just a sense of just sort of a flat line. Just kind of never feeling much, I guess. And just I feel most connected to a lack of desire and passion and motivation for pretty much anything. A lack of thinking that anything matters. And yet still I'm trying to I guess I think that what? Living some sort of austere life matters. Trying to have a clear mind, peaceful mind matters, but I don't know what for. I don't know what for, because I don't. It's not like I have any real influence on society. It's not like I'm at some high position in any sort of institution. I'm not a politician. Not I'm not a military leader. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not a leader of a corporation, tech giant, or I'm not anything. I'm not anything. So it's like I don't know why I give a shit so much about this this austerity that I live. It just seems like I do it for nothing. Odd Fitness. Tim Brennan sends the $5. He says, I recommend getting in the best shape of your life. You'll be more happy, feel more valuable in your soul. Thank you, brother, for all the content. Thank you, man. Thank you for the $5. Yeah, getting in the best shape of your life. Yeah. Yeah, it's maybe when you're at the end state of being in the best shape of your life, you feel great. But before you get to that state, you don't know how that feels. It's kind of hard to get motivated by a feeling you don't feel. It's kind of hard to be motivated by something you don't even know will materialize. um I'm sure maybe it would help, but there are a lot of people that are very fit, that are in good shape, that are miserable. No? I don't know. I would like to be in better shape, but yeah, I guess the part of the problem is I don't really enjoy, like, I enjoy running, but I don't really enjoy lifting weights. There's a lot about working out that I just don't really enjoy, especially going to a gym. It kind of feels very depressing, just around a bunch of like weird fucking people. They're like lifeless. I guess I'm one of them since I'm in the gym, but and yeah, I don't know. Somehow find it hard to believe that having abs would like make all all these problems go away. Like I don't. What even are my problems? They just imaginary. Again, it's this like, you guys notice how it's this never-ending self-awareness, self-critique. It's kind of exhausting. Why do our brains do this? Why is it just constantly like, oh, you're not a, I don't know. Problems never go away. You're just in shape with problems. Yeah. Well, sometimes I think maybe everyone feels the way I do. It's just they don't allow themselves to feel it. right? Like maybe this guy feels like I do, but he's just not allowing himself to feel it. Maybe he's closer to it than most people, but not as close as me because he still smokes and drinks caffeine. Maybe has a beer or two or whatever. Probably doesn't have any weird notions, shame or guilt around ejaculation. So safe to say he's doesn't have issues there. He also has a wife, so I don't know. Those are the things that are kind of nurturing him or distracting him, depending on what your opinion is of having a significant other. Some people think it's just a distraction, nothing more than that. Other people think it's invaluable. It's a nurturing sort of positive benefit, positive thing. But I don't know, man. I don't really know how like monks and shit are so fucking happy. Like we're supposed to think that monks are like really happy, sitting in caves like doing nothing. I find it hard to believe. Somebody take a picture of these monks. I want a video on a live stream. Stream these monks in real time. But I'm at a place where I just don't really know what to do. I don't know what to do about my. I guess what that means is when I say I don't know what to do, so it's like, well, what do you mean to do? What are you trying to get, right? What is the aim? I don't know what to do. Okay, well, what would your aim doing something for what, right? What is the end goal? I guess my end goal is to just be always like sort of positive and or just happier more of the time and not so much in my head and able to enjoy substances and escapes from time to time with certain balance and making money and making good money, outpacing the erosion of my purchasing power uh, in a way that I am staying true to myself and not compromising my own humanity. Yeah, I guess that would be ideal. I don't even really necessarily need a woman or kids or a house or, the American dream. I just want to feel as if I'm moving forward, outpacing, the money dilution and also not so much in my head, just creating like possibly imaginary problems. And I don't really know how to do these things. I don't really know how to achieve these aims. Holy shit. Oh, Marin. Damn, bro, you're really helping a bro out. Says you'll figure this out. Only way is through. Thank you, Marin, the real one. As always, the biggest whale of my channel. You are you're a real one, that's for sure. Thank you for that, man. Very generous. Very generous. Yeah. Only way is through. That's right. Only way is through. 500 euros, bro. That's nuts. That'll help. That'll help. That helps. Yeah. It's crazy how something so simple as over $500 can just make you kind of self-critical of everything you just said, you know. Yeah, but the only way is through. But the thing is, I can't really. I gotta have more faith. I'm trying to have more faith in just kind of the unknown and not planning for the future. Not I don't know, just not having any sort of apprehensions. Not constantly worrying about it. Trying to solve problems before they even occur. Right. You're making up imaginary problems of what will happen in the future. You think they're guaranteed to happen. So you start to develop all these contingency plans and what you're going to do for things that might not even materialize in the future. And I'm trying to be less like that. I'm trying to have more faith in things just kind of working out because you're not doing that. You know, maybe the most productive thing I can do is to not be productive. Maybe the way forward here is not the way that I think it's going to go. Kind of have to get rid of your old patterns, mechanisms of dealing with uncertainty, to kind of throw that out and just kind of trust in sort of a new process, one in which creates a lot of anxiety at first because it feels like you're just going to let the world fall apart. It feels like you're just, if you don't plan, if you're not constantly thinking about where's the money going to come from, how are you going to express yourself truly doing it, getting it, what's going to happen? What if this happens? What if an unexpected expense comes? What if you get hit by a car tomorrow and you have to go to the emergency room and you have no health insurance? All this, you know, what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Don't file your taxes. I still haven't filed my taxes, by the way. And I'm just so tired of thinking about these things, like worrying about these things. Because it just ruins your present. It ruins your ability to enjoy life in the moment. And, you know, every cope runs its course. Nothing makes my dick hard anymore. What do you mean, Manosphere Vinyl? What does that mean? Overthinking level 9,000, yeah. Yeah, dude. I overthink like a motherfucker. I wish I had it all figured out like you, Marin. Yeah, Overthinking is a bitch. Let me get Marin's advice. Should I drink? Should I smoke? Should I do nicotine? What do you do, Marin? I want to be like you, man. What do you do? Tell me what you do. I'm not talking about a job, but I'm just talking about what's your secrets, man? If I'm ever sending $500 to somebody in a live stream, I think I'm gonna have it figured out. That will be when I have things figured out. You don't do that unless you have things figured out. The purpose of life, Manosphere Vinyl says the purpose of life is to get pussy and everything else is cope. Maybe that's my problem. I'm just not getting pussy. Maybe if I just got pussy, all this stuff would just go away. I seriously think that people, Legend says, I seriously think that people like yourself cannot ever be happy because you're overthinking about everything. Yeah. 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 That is true. There's no truer statement than that, man. There's no truer statement. It's rough out here. Marin says, I'm rich, but basically very much the same guy as you. Oh, man. Maybe, maybe my rich phase is in front of me. Maybe I'm about to come into it then. And then we'll be the exact same. Maybe I have yet to hit the rich part, but. It's good to know that there's people out there that are just as big overthinkers as I am. MS says, you know, you need love, real love. I had it for 2 years, best time of my life. Wolf White says, stop thinking and start feeling. Yeah. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. But yeah, I agree with you guys. Everything in balance. It's not overthinking. It's thinking exactly as much as you're supposed to be. Feels like overthinking. Feels like I think too much. Feels like. But does anybody have it figured out? You know, there are people out there that just they wake up and they're like, "Yep, I fucking nailed it." This life thing, I nailed this shit. I have it figured out, baby. It is a great day to be alive. I got no worries. They're not even really thinking. They're not even really thinking that much about things. They're just like, they wake up and the only thought they have is like, yep, another day where I'm just going to kill it, where I have it all figured out. It's all good, baby. They just wake up and they're like, it's all good, baby. And they're not even worried. Not even, there's nothing that they're worried about. Isaiah Paris back in the chat. Isaiah Paris. Hey Marshall, chess party kicked me out in 5 minutes. Maybe I should make that bigger. Let's make this bigger here. Make it bigger. Yeah, I saw that on your YouTube. How exactly? How did they kick you out? Why did they kick you out? I'm curious. Isaiah, how did you get kicked out in 5 minutes? Like, bro, what did you like jump over the rope and try to tackle Anna Cramling or something? Like, I don't understand. You have to do some crazy shit to get kicked out in 5 minutes. Marin says financially I figured it out, but that's not the only thing to resolve. Yeah, facts. Facts. Glad you figured it out financially though. At least some of us are. That's good, man. But yeah, it's not the only thing. Alice says he played them his chess song. Isaiah sends the 2. He says it makes no sense. The reason was my boss. My boss. I mean, that makes no sense either. How is your boss affecting something when you're an ocean away in Sweden? He says basically Sweden did a massive dookie on me. Wait. How did your boss have any effect on you getting kicked out of the chess tournament in Sweden? If he lives in Maine. I got it all on camera. Are you gonna upload it to your channel? Alice says, Isaiah, stop being cryptic. Yeah, stop being coy, little munchkin. He says, yeah, I gotta get home and upload it because it's on SD card. Where are you now? You on the plane? In the airport? We got Isaiah back. Hallelujah. Says, nah, I'm in Stockholm. My flight is Wednesday. I'll be back midnight then. Okay. Wednesday. So we'll probably see you Thursday. Well, hopefully you were able to do other things in Sweden. Go see some sights. Maybe ride some bikes. Go to some cathedrals. Maybe go to some red light districts if they exist there. I don't know. I think that's Amsterdam, but they might. I mean, in Europe, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but isn't prostitution just legal in Europe? No, it's a date. It's not a chocolate covered marshmallow. No, it's a date. It's in the fruit. White Rider says he still subsists off of caloric intake. What are you supposed to subsist off of if not calories? Fucking air? Bingo Bango says in Sweden, selling sex is legal, but buying is not. What? How is that even a thing? Oh, so they're protecting the girls? Okay. Not make them criminals. So it's like, honey, you were trying to sell yourself on the corner. It's okay, just go home. But if some dude is like caught with her in some hotel room, what? Then it's like the dude's getting put in handcuffs and sent to jail. Sweetie, put your pants back on. Go home. Like, damn, bro. Damn. Dude, it really is unfair to be a man out here, bro. Holy shit. We can't catch a break, man. The most dates you've had in a while, yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure. Sweden is misandric as fuck. Seriously. Hello, Tustro says if you're 230 pounds, you can go without food for a few weeks, bruh. All right, bro. All right. All right, I'm gonna do it. Maybe that's my problem. I'm eating calories. Maybe that's my problem. I just need to go without food for a few weeks. Then everything will solve itself. There was some sort of Substratic just subscribed. Oh, hell yeah. Nice. Got a subscriber. Hmm. Stop eating, embrace starvation. Fasting is life. Jesus. We can't even eat anymore? Is that my problem? I'm just eating? Stop. Well, guys, I've been busting nuts a lot more frequently nowadays, but don't tell anybody. Is still eating food in 2026. Isaiah Parsons, the 5, says I was the only guy in the passport line who had to talk to the fat Swedish female cops. First sign. Then at chess party, the secure reason was his boss. Obviously makes no sense. Secure? In the second? I always have to do so much work to figure out what you're saying. I was the only guy in the passport line who had to talk to the fat Swedish female cops. That was the first sign that something was gonna go wrong. Then at the chess party, the Secure? Secure reason was his boss? I don't understand. Say, security guy kept saying my boss, when I asked him why I'm being targeted to leave. Ah, interesting. So the security just came up to you, were like, yo, dude, leave. And you were like, what? Why? And he was like, my boss, my boss. Interesting. Makes no sense. I walked in the building. That's all I did that day. I actually did see Anna Cramling, though. Hell yeah, bruh. Dude, I'm jealous. I'm jealous. You saw Anna Cramling. You lucky motherfucker. You walked into the building. That makes no sense. Do you have does Anna Cramling have like a restraining order against you or something? Any previous info that we should be in the know about that would bring some sort of newfound context to this explanation, these developments? Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna have to wait to see. Yeah, I have to wait and see on the video. How are the Birkenstocks? They're good. All right. I can see your chats, Marin. I think the security, he was uncomfortable with my camera and he fucking pushed over a little child in his rage. It was bizarre. Interesting. Yeah, the Birkenstocks are good. I've just been wearing them all in the house because I'm trying to, they have the cork bottom that you have to break in, so the cork sets in the shape of your foot. So they're not crazy comfortable yet. I'm still breaking them in, but in a couple weeks maybe it should be okay. That's what ChatGPT said. Ella likes the Birkenstocks and the rib socks. Yeah, there were, when I was at DSW, there were regular Birkenstocks, and then there were the fake sort of Birkenstocks that look exactly like a Birkenstock, but they don't have like any leather. They're just they almost look like a croc. They're made of croc material, and they were like, all of them were like $45 each, and then the Birkenstocks were like 120. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna be some poor. Like, I still think like this, bro. I'm not gonna be some poor just wearing some knockoff Birkenstocks that are cheap. I'm gonna get the real ones. I can be very just, I don't know, elitist. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Marin covered your Birkenstock expenses. You can buy another pair now. Yeah, seriously. Bingo says, I mean, good shoes are an investment. Personally, I like these because their bottoms are almost totally flat. Yeah. Good shoes are an investment. It's good to have comfortable shoes. Monera says, realized I was in a manic state last 2 days, fantasizing about how cool and based I am. What? That sounds hilarious. Dude, Manosphere, you good, dude. This dude is just it's too much. Every man should wear combat boots, leather vest, jacket, tactical gloves, and a pocket knife. uh, Aaron, I don't know what you're talking. Calls me retarded. Ignoring your chats. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen any chats. Sends me $500 and then he calls me retarded. 780 USD down the drain, Isaiah. Damn, son. Sucks. All right. I think that's it, guys. The stream is over. Appreciate everybody hanging out, chilling, while I voice my depressing ass thoughts, my overthinking. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do, guys. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out, so this will probably be not the last live stream, so probably do one this week sometime, but I don't know exactly when. Or I may go gung ho and just start doing live streams every single day this week. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but thank you everyone for hanging out, and everybody have a good night. We'll see you in the next one. It's Casey Xander reference. Peace.